Yes, a very good afternoon to you all. So today we are going to start with a new chapter, and the name of the chapter is Population, chapter number 7, Population. So before starting with population, directly starting with the population of India or starting a population of Maharashtra or starting a population, what exactly is the population of the world, हम पहले क्या करेंगे? What we will do is we will understand like how to calculate population or exactly कैसे हो सकता है. So we will start knowing or understanding about the population from a very small scale. ठीक है? So pay attention.
Geographical explanation. In the above exercise, you obtained information about the strength of students in your school. In a similar manner,
See, जैसे यहाँ पे दिया ना in a similar manner अगर पहले we can talk about a school. अगर if I tell you
of
कि
exercise,
आप एक काम करो, आप अपने स्कूल से you collect the information of आपकी पूरी क्लास है. Now I think you're all in, yes, you're all in 8th standard, correct? So 8th standard में आपके क्लास में आपके division में basically how many number of the boys, what is the number of the girls, total number कितना है, then move on for the second division. Like अगर आप A का ढूंढा है तो like go and search for B, then go and search for C. So all your grade is completed. Then you go for the 7th grade. उसका A B C का समझो कि what are the number of girls, what are the number of boys, what is the total number. तो ये सब you have to calculate. Okay, so if you calculate this way, like अगर आपने ऐसा calculation किया from the school way, you will understand what exactly population is. So now if we talk about a particular area, see.
you obtained information about the strength of students in your school. In a similar manner, information can be obtained about the population of a village, taluka, district, state, nation, and world.
Fine. So in
While obtaining this
population,
information,
see, while obtaining the information now, what you can do
can be
is
obtained about
you can obtain the information. Yes, while obtaining the information, what you can do is you can obtain the information regarding a village. Like we can start from a village. सबसे छोटी चीज जैसे हमने when I've asked you to find the information about the population of the school, मैंने directly आपको school का नहीं बोला ना. First what did I ask you कि आप पहले क्या करो कि you can find the information regarding your class. तो पहले class का लो, like कितने गर्ल्स है कितने बॉयज है, एंड वंस यू आर डन विद द क्लास यू कैन मूव ऑन टू द अदर क्लास एंड एवरीथिंग, राइट? सो वैसे ही यहाँ पे वी विल नॉट डायरेक्टली जंप ऑन टू द वर्ल्ड कि पूरे वर्ल्ड में पॉपुलेशन कितना है. नहीं, पहले हम अपने विलेज से या हमारे सिटी से वी विल स्टार्ट कि हमारे सिटी में या हमारे पर्टिकुलर एरिया में, सिटी में बेसिकली हाउ मेनी आर द मेल्स, हाउ मेनी आर द फीमेल्स, पहले हम ये देखेंगे. फिर उसके बाद वी विल मूव ऑन टू द तालुका एंड देन वी विल मूव ऑन टू द डिस्ट्रिक्ट, then हमारा state Maharashtra, and then nation India, and then the world. Correct? Yes. So hi Anjali. Yes, hi Satish. Yes, correct. Very good Satish. Very good. Correct. That first we will go line wise. First we will see the population of the village, then we will see the population of the
about the
taluka,
population
then
of a village,
yes,
taluka, district,
state.
state, nation, and world.
Okay.
While obtaining this information, we have to also consider age and sex ratio, literacy, etc.
Fine. So if we start from a city, अगर हमने city से start किया, like we will consider कितने males है and कितने females है, like if we will start with that. So first we have to consider what is the age. Like for example, if I say in a particular village, let's consider, I'm taking an example of 50 males है and 40 females हैं, fine. So if I have 50 males, I have to check the age of that males. Okay, मतलब कैसे कि of what age group, सब small kids है, school going kids है, या working लोग है, या old people है. So I have to select the age. We also have to know सिर्फ population, सिर्फ digit, सिर्फ number से हमें कुछ लेना देना नहीं है. We have to understand the quality of the population. We have to understand, we also need to understand the information such as the age. Then it comes the sex ratio. Now what is this? It is a ratio. It is a ratio of males to female. per males to females का ratio is called as a sex ratio. And then comes the literacy part. If I talk about literacy, then what is literacy? If एक village में 50 total males है and 50 males से कोई भी एजुकेटेड नहीं है, किसी का भी एजुकेशन नहीं हुआ है, सो द लिटरेसी इज जीरो. बट इफ 5 are the small kids which are just going to the school, तो हाँ थोड़ा तो लिटरेसी रेट है. सो लिटरेसी मीन्स कितने लोग वहां पे एजुकेटेड है, एजुकेटेड कितने लोग हैं, तो वी कॉल इट एज लिटरेसी. ओके, नाउ नेक्स्ट वन.
Several factors are responsible for the development of a region. Out of these, population is an important factor.
अगर मुझे अपने एरिया को डेवलप करना है, तो इफ आई हैव ऑल द अनएजुकेटेड पीपल एंड इफ आई हैव ऑल द एजुकेटेड पीपल, नाउ यू टेल मी विच सिटी विल बी फ्लरिश्ड विद द डेवलपमेंट. कौन से सिटी में बहुत ज़्यादा डेवलपमेंट होगा? जो एजुकेटेड लोग हैं उनके साथ या जो अनएजुकेटेड है उनके साथ? नो डाउट दोनों के साथ होगा, बट कंपेरेटिवली ज़्यादा डेवलपमेंट या जो ग्रोथ है सिटी का, वो डेफिनेटली कैसे कहाँ से होगा? जो एरिया में वी have the population जिसका educated है, वो सिटी का ज्यादा होगा. yes, correct. yes, per 1000 males. yes, correct, you are totally correct, Shreya. yes, my name is Amrita. yes, I just forgot to give you that explanation part. yes, my name is Amrita. okay,
In the population of any region, the following aspects have to be considered.
now let's consider
Population
what
growth,
hmm?
population distribution, population density, structure of population.
Correct. So keep these 4 things in your mind while studying the population. अगर हम जैसे कोई भी, if we are considering any population of any region, these 4 things we need to understand. These 4 things you should know the meaning of this 4 thing. अब वो 4 चीजें कौन सी है? Population growth. अगर एक city है जिसमें एक particular चीज है, तो how this population is growing, you should know that. सेकेंड, पॉपुलेशन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. अब क्या होता है कि पूरा एरिया ना, द होल एरिया, यू विल नॉट हैव अ फ्लैट रीजन, राइट? कुछ एरिया में यू विल हैव अ माउंटेन, सो पीपल डोंट गो एंड स्टे इन द माउंटेन. तो जो माउंटेनियस एरिया होगा, या कोई एक पर्टिकुलर स्टेट में यू हैव अ रिवर, तो उस रिवर में तो कोई स्टे नहीं करेगा. तो पॉपुलेशन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, हाउ इज द पॉपुलेशन डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड? लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल ऑफ राजस्थान. इन राजस्थान वी हैव मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द एरिया डेजर्ट है वहां पे, सैंड एंड एवरीथिंग, तो पीपल कैंट गो एंड स्टे देयर ना. सो वहां पे जो पॉपुलेशन का जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है वो कैसा है ना, पीपल विल नॉट सिलेक्ट कि हम लोग सैंड में जाके रहेंगे. सो ऑल द पीपल विल कम टूवर्ड्स अ फ्लैटर एरिया. करेक्ट. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड एज अ पॉपुलेशन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. नाउ नेक्स्ट इज पॉपुलेशन डेंसिटी. इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन द डेंस, कितना डेंस है, इट इज हाईली डेंस और इट इज वेरी लेस पॉपुलेशन, तो it depends upon the density. And last is the structure of the population. So each and everything we will be doing this in detail. Okay, so let's start.
Can you tell?
Now pay
Let's
attention.
study this table. We have put
See.
17.
Okay. So the population of both the cities according to 2017 is given in front of you. We have A city and we have B city. Now total population in 2016 A city is 1 lakh and here it is 1,10,000. उसके बाद A city में total number of children, the new birth जो है वहां पे 2000 है और यहाँ पे 2750 है. Now when I say birth, that means you have to add with the जो already जो population होगा उसका तुमको add करना है. If I say death, that means that number of people you have to remove, you have to subtract that total amount of people. बाद में if I say migrated, now what do you mean by migrated? When you move from one place to other, अगर आप वहां से वन प्लेस से अगर मूव हो जाते हो, यू कॉल इट एज माइग्रेशन. हमेशा हमेशा के लिए, लाइक इफ यू फर्स्ट यू आर स्टेइंग एट अ पर्टिकुलर प्लेस एंड देन आप कुछ XYZ रीजन की वजह से आप उस प्लेस को छोड़ के आप कहीं दूसरे जगह पे जाके सेट हो रहे हो, तो इट इज कॉल्ड एज माइग्रेटेड. तो अगर ए सिटी है उसमें से अगर बाहर के लोग आके यहाँ पे रह रहे हैं तो हमने क्या कर दिया, उसको ऐड. बट इफ यहाँ पे जो ऑलरेडी जो ए सिटी के है वो यहाँ से जाके दूसरे जगह पे जा रहे हैं, तो व्हाट वी हैव टू डू, वी हैव टू माइनस, वी हैव टू सब्ट्रैक्ट इट. सो सी व्हाट इज रिटन, टोटल नंबर ऑफ चिल्ड्रन बॉर्न. तो जब वो बॉर्न हो रहा है तो वी आर एडिंग इट. एंड जब हम बोल रहे टोटल नंबर ऑफ डेथ, वी आर सब्ट्रैक्टिंग दिस थिंग्स. if we say people who have migrated from outside मतलब कोई कहीं भी दूसरे जगह से people have came and settled in a city, वहां पे लोग आके रह रहे a city में, तो we have to add it. and if I say people who have migrated out, जो लोग already a city में रह रहे थे उन लोग निकल के they have moved on, so it is called as the minus. So after doing all this thing, can you tell me what is the total population in 2017 after 1 lakh plus 2000 minus 1500, then again adding 23,000 and subtracting it to 2000, what is the total amount? Yes. Yes, very good, Shreya. Yes, people moving from one place to other, it is called as migration. Exactly. So yes, tell me what is the total. I want a total of both A city and B city. Yes, Gauri. Yes, Anjali. No need to delete, Peter. Tell me the answer.
Answer. From the given data, the total population of cities is calculated as follows. Total population of city, total population in 2016 plus.
So let's see how they have calculated. Okay, so here is the answer. See, here is the answer. For A city, after doing all the calculations correctly, you can find it as the total population in 2017 is 1,21,500. And for B city, after adding, subtracting 2,200, again adding the migrated citizen of 15,000, and then again subtracting it with 5,000, the total amount here is 1,20,550. Okay, so A city is having 1,21,500 population and the B city is having 1,20,550. Now can you tell me which city is having more population? Yes, which city is having more population? Yes, correct. City A. A city is having more population in the year 2017. So this is how the population thing depends. When any child is, this is how it variations you can see in the population. If there is a birth, you have to add it. If there is a death, you have to subtract it. If somebody from outside is moving in the city, you have to add it, and somebody from the city is moving out, you have to subtract it. Okay, so I hope things are clear to you till here.
After considering all the points, which city has recorded more growth of population in 1 year? Answer. The city A has recorded more growth in population in 1 year.
Okay, let's move on to the next thing.
Births per thousand, and that of city B was 25 births per thousand.
So at the same time, you can see the total number of the children born. So in A city it was 2,000 and in the B city it was 2,750. So can you tell me in which city the birth was more? Definitely in city B. And if I talk about death, can you tell me which city faced the maximum number of deaths? Yes, the city B. So this is how the population things vary. Okay, sure. Now let's move on to the next one.
Let's study this table. Geographical explanation. Population growth.
Yes. So while studying about population, we kept 4 things in mind, one of which was population growth. Now, how can a population grow? See, like the same way we have seen in the previous table that 2 times we added the number of people. First, when there was a birth, so whenever there is a birth, we have to add it, and whenever there is a migration from the people outside to your city, जब भी कोई बाहर से, if somebody is adding on to your city, somebody is migrating from outside to a particular city, we have to add it. Okay, so population growth का देखो, let's see what is population
From the
growth.
above exercise, it can be seen that there is constant change in the population of a region. Sometimes there is a decrease in population,
We were
and at
subtracting,
other times there is an increase.
we were adding.
This increase or decrease.
So as we are studying about the growth, we will concentrate on the addition part. So this increase or decrease is related to the following factors. So let's see what are the factors.
Birth rate, the number of live births per 1,000 people in a year shows the birth rate.
Now, this thing is extremely important. So please pay attention. Now, the number of live births per thousand. So live birth, why it has been added? Because many times after birth also the children can like majority times, it is not like every time, but once it is birth, we want the live birth. So the number of live birth per 1,000 people in a particular year, we are talking about a particular year, it shows the birth rate. So number of the births, the number of the live births per 1,000 people, per as in divided by 1,000 people in a particular year, it is called as the birth rate. So again I repeat, the number of live births per as in divided by 1,000 people in a particular year. I'm talking about a particular year. If I concentrate on 2016, I will be talking the birth rate regarding 2016 only. If I am talking about 2021, so I will be strictly talking about the live birth about 2020 only. So whichever year I am concentrating, I will concentrate on that year only. So if I ask you what is the definition of the birth rate, you will say it is a number of the birth. It is a number of the live birth per 1,000 people in a particular area is in a particular year is called as the birth rate. Okay.
Death rate, the number of deaths per 1,000 people in a year shows the death.
Yes, it is exactly the same thing. Only in spite of writing the number of the live birth, you have to write the number of the death. So the number of the death per 1,000 people in a year is called as a death rate. If I talk about the birth rate, so the number of the live birth per 1,000 people in a particular year is called as a birth rate. Similarly, the same definition goes for the death rate also.
Rate. Life expectancy. The average lifespan of an individual expected in an area at the time of birth.
Okay, so when we say life expectancy, that means now what does this life expectancy means? It means basically that, for example, if we talk about India, so in India, max to max, what is the maximum? Not this is not like exact, but we can take an average that what is the maximum age a person can live. It can be 75 or 77, 78, something around that. Hardly people live till 90s or 100 and they just cross 90 and everything, but maximum time, like it has been calculated, it has been considered that the average, not I'm saying exactly, it is just the average of the lifespan of individual people expected according to the area, so it is called as the life expectancy.
Migration.
Okay, now let's study what is migration. Okay, so as I have told you, if a family is moving, let's consider A city. If the family is not happy with A city or due to some XYZ reasons, now the reasons can be if there is some transfer from one place to other, if you're moving for the educational purpose from one place to other, there can be n number of reasons. So when a particular group of people are moving from one place to other, it is called as the migration. Okay, please pay attention. Yes, please pay attention.
Of an area or into an area is called migration. When people move into a region from
Okay,
outside
listen
for
again.
residence, migration. The movement of an individual or a group out of an area or into an area is called migration. When people move into a region from outside for residence, it is called in-migration. And when people move out of a region for residential purpose, it is called out-migration.
So this two terms is extremely easy. So if you're moving to a particular area, if let's consider Mumbai. So many of the people from outside different places, they come and stay in Mumbai. They are migrating in Mumbai. So this is called as a in-migration. Now let's consider again the same Mumbai. If many of the people are moving out of Mumbai and staying at a different place, it is called as the out migration. Okay, so if everyone are moving and staying at a one place, it is called as an in-migration. And from one place, if everyone is moving to a different places, it is called as the out-migration. Okay, yes, please pay attention to the next thing.
All the above factors affect the population growth. The difference.
See, we have studied these four things now. See, we have studied about the birth rate. We have studied about the life expectancy. We have studied about the birth rate, we have studied about the death rate, we have studied about the life expectancy and the migration. So if the question arises, what are the factors affecting the population growth? What all factors will affect the population growth? That means first is the birth rate, like how many children are born. First one is the birth rate. Now how many people are dead? That will also matter. Fluctuation of the population, that will also matter. Third one is a life expectancy, like what exactly is the life expectancy of a particular person in a particular area. And the last one is the migration. Now migration is divided into two types. One is the in migration and the second one is the out migration. When I say in migration, that means number of people from different places will move to the same place. And when I say out migration, from the same place many of the people are moving outwards, so it is called as the out migration. Is it clear to everyone? So please make this point as very clear and mark it somewhere. Make a note that factors affecting the population growth, it is four: birth rate, death rate, life expectancy and the migration. Yes, moving further.
The difference between the birth rate and the death rate is clearly responsible for the natural changes in population. Similarly, the migration of an individual or a group constantly results in the change of population.
So migration plays a really important role, like a constant moving of constant moving of a single individual or a group of a people from one place to another constantly results in the migration. See, pay attention.
For the natural changes in population. Similarly,
now the migration of an individual or the group constantly results in the change of population. Like for example, if somebody is moving from some of the other states to Delhi for educational purpose, so for 2 years you will stay there, you will complete your education, you will come back to your own city. So this is a constant movement, this is a constant migration, in migration, out migration for the particular area. So this can results in the change of the population. So see, please pay attention on the screen.
The migration of an individual or a group constantly results in the change of population. The unchecked growth of population puts pressure on the resources of a region.
Okay, now how will I give an example of this? See, a very interesting example. Let's consider you have 5 benches and each bench only two students can sit. So basically for 5 bench, 2 students can sit. So basically 10 students can sit properly in that class. So this bench consider as your resource. Okay, so if I have 8 students in my class, so will there be any pressure on the resource? No, rather 1 or 2 students can sit freely or rest of the students can keep their bags on the remaining benches. So you will be very relaxedly what I can say, like you will very relax, in a relaxed way you will enjoy the resources, right? तो पर वही अगर if I have 10 students और 10 student का ही जगह है तो कुछ रिसोर्स पे प्रेशर होगा? नो, रिसोर्स पे कोई भी प्रेशर नहीं होगा, रादर एवरीथिंग विल गो बैलेंस्ड आउट. बट इफ द स्टूडेंट्स, एक क्लास में 10 स्टूडेंट्स का अगर जगह है एंड इफ आई अलाउ 15 और 13 स्टूडेंट्स टू सिट इन दैट, इफ आई से सब लोग एडजस्ट करके बैठो, सो तुम्हारे रिसोर्स पे प्रेशर आएगा? यस आएगा. सो बेसिकली एवरी प्लेस देयर इज अ फिक्स अमाउंट ऑफ रिसोर्स. उस रिसोर्स से अगर कम, इफ यू हैव अ लेस पॉपुलेशन, सो इजीली सबको अबेंडेंस में सब चीज मिलेगा. बट इफ जितना रिसोर्स है उतना ही पॉपुलेशन होगा, सो एवरीथिंग विल गो नॉर्मल नॉर्मल. बट इफ रिसोर्स कम है और पीपल ज्यादा है तो यस, वाटर स्कैरसिटी, लाइट स्कैरसिटी, एजुकेशनल थिंग्स, ये सब चीजों पे क्या होगा? हैम्पर होगा. ओके. Yes, very good, very good. Kavita, Gauri, very good, beta, very good. Yes.
On the other hand, a controlled growth of population will lead to the availability of resources in the right proportion. A controlled population is an indicator of the development of a region.
So if you're having a controlled population, even your place can grow faster. But अगर वही बहुत ज़्यादा population है तो yes, things की हो सकता है कि उतना rapidly आपका growth ना हो सके. Okay, everybody understood this? Yes, let's move on to the next one.
Try this.
Okay.
Geographical explanation. Distribution of population.
Okay, so the four things that we studied at the beginning: population growth. Population growth में we studied the four things: birth rate, death rate, life expectancy, and the migration. ये चार चीजें हमने. Now we are heading on towards the next term, that is the distribution of population. As I have told you, population distribution depends upon कि वो area में what kind of area it is. अगर we have the city and पूरे city में if I have the river running, तो क्या लोग उस river पे रहेंगे? No, the people will try to stay on the land जो side में है. So how is the population distributed? The population is distributed on both the sides of the area. So in this point we are going to study about the distribution of the population. So for this, here you have the grains of chabli scattered in between these squares. See, this is the big square and this is a small square. This is a big area and this is the small area. Now pay attention.
Distribution of population. When the grains of chawli are scattered over two areas of different sizes, in the larger area, the distribution appears sparse. Similarly, we can understand the distribution of population in a region.
See, if I talk about a region, this is a state Maharashtra. See, how to read the map. First, understand what is written here. See, this map is regarding Maharashtra. And what is the topic? Population distribution. Now come to the scale index part. Excuse me. Coming to the index part, if the population is very less, it is whitish in color, and as the population increases the color goes on darker and darker. So can you tell me where the population is dense, where there is very much of population? See here in this Mumbai, Thane and Palghar, this place here you have full a dark shade. Fine, so the dark shade which indicates that here it is a majority, most of the population, and the places where you have the lighter shade indicates that the population is less. Okay, so this is how you understand the map. Every time when you come across a map, you have to first read the name about what we are talking, then the scale. North side is this way, so you have to hold the map this way, and then about what we are talking and also the index. Okay, so as we have understood which is the populous part, which is the densely populated, and which is the sparsely populated. Okay, yes.
Some regions are mountainous while others are flat plains. Geographical conditions vary. Some regions are well endowed with natural resources, while others have limited resources. Is it not so? Endowed that is, provided with the quality, ability, or asset. These conditions affect the distribution of population. In areas with abundant resources, naturally the population is more. In these areas, there is dense population distribution. In areas with scarce resources, unfavorable climate, undulating terrain, etc., the population distribution is sparse. Undulating terrain, that is an area shaped like a wave or moving up and down like a wave.
Okay, so see what is this? Okay,
Geographical explanation. Distribution.
see. So as I have told you earlier
Some
that
regions are
the whole region, you will never find the whole region as a flat plane. See now, as I've considered this region, you can see that here it is a mountainous part and here it is a totally mountainous part. But still people have tried and they have lived in the sloping part. But not here. Fine. So distribution is uneven. This part no houses and this part you have few houses. So this is how the distribution of population depends upon the area, whether it is a flat area or mountainous area. It depends on that. Okay. Now as comparatively to the mountainous area, see here it is a flat plane. So as you can see the flat plane, see equally distributed. See none of the place you will find like this much space, यहाँ पे इतना पूरा blank है and सब side side में है areas वैसा नहीं है. See as it is a flat plane ना, जैसे ये flat plane है तो equally यहाँ पे house है, यहाँ पे house है, यहाँ पे house है, because it is a flat plane. So हर जगह पे houses है. So यहाँ पे the people are living in a equal way में यहाँ पे रह रहे हैं. Like everywhere people are living. So this is an equal distribution of population. Okay.
geographical
Now, distribution of population depends upon many factors. One of which is desert. अगर desert में रहना है तो will any of you will select कि हाँ हम desert में रहेंगे? No, none of the people will select to stay. Like हम लोग कुछ खुद का choice नहीं करेंगे कि हाँ हमको जाके desert में रहना है. So this desert plays an important role. Plain होगा तो yes we will live. और अगर यहाँ पे फॉरेस्ट होगा तो नो, फॉरेस्ट एग्जैक्ट फॉरेस्ट होगा, nobody will go and stay there. Mountainous, see as we have mountains here, nobody will go to this rocky part and stay there. So distribution of population depends upon this part. Deserted है, plain है, forest है, mountain है, it depends upon all these things. Okay. Now moving further, some regions are well endowed with the natural resources while other have the limited resources. Now they could, if I talk about Rajasthan and if I talk about Mumbai. So if I talk about Mumbai, now Mumbai is such a city, jo it has all kind of facilities, it has all kind of luxurious things. And if I talk about Rajasthan, it is too hot there. Then you have majority of the deserted area. उतना ज़्यादा तुमको luxurious things नहीं मिलेंगे. So if I ask you to choose one city, definitely you will choose Mumbai. Exactly. यहाँ पे resources कम है, यहाँ पे limited resources है, natural resources कम है, water, light, this, all the things are very less. So none of the people will think of migrating intentionally to or such kind of things. Okay. So distribution of population also depends upon the natural resources. Moving further, this condition affect the distribution of area. So let's see this map. See, let us understand this map. This is a dot map. What kind of map is this? This is a dot map. See.
distribution of population.
Now, as you can see here, again, the reddish color, the more darker part indicates that there is a more population as compared to, see, this is the Rajasthan, as I've told you. It is deserted, so very less population you can see. Yes, correct. That is by the state of Maharashtra. Yes, that is correct. So this reddish part help us to understand what exactly population is been distributed here. Okay. Yes. Now,
In areas with abundant resources, naturally the population is more.
Fine. So if you have a large amount of resources, like for example, if you have a large market, you have a large vegetable market, you have a large fruit market and everything, that means the population in that area is also very large. So in areas जहाँ पे आपको बहुत ज़्यादा resources है, वहाँ पे population भी क्या होगा, more होगा.
In these
Correct?
areas, there is dense population distribution. In areas with scarce resources, unfavorable climate, undulating terrain, etc., the population distribution is sparse. Undulating terrain, that is an area shaped like a wave or moving up and down like a wave.
Okay, so if you have two options, to stay or to live in a flat plane, and the second option is to live in such a sloping plane, so obviously the majority of the people will select and will stay and will like to have to live in the area जहाँ पे flat plane है as compared to this wavy one. अब देखो यहाँ पे ना you can see that in the area with the scarce resource, यहाँ पे resources बहुत कम है, you can't grow anything, यहाँ पे कोई farming नहीं हो सकता, यहाँ पे बहुत ही difficulties है, unfavorable climate है, अगर बारिश भी आता है तो soil erosion हो जाएगा, you are always in a risk कि कभी mountain slide हो सकता है, landslide हो सकता है. So ये undulating terrain जो है ना, see undulating terrain as in it is like a wave or the moving up and down wave kind of thing you can see ना. So it is not a flat plane, ये flat नहीं है. So यहाँ पे जो distribution होगा population का वो भी क्या होगा, कम होगा, it will be less, okay, as compared to the flat plane.
Try this.
Okay, now let's move on to the next one.
Explanation. Density of population.
See, जैसे I have told you that starting में हमने चार चीज पढ़ी थी, population growth and then distribution of population भी हो गया, and now we are moving on to the density of the population. Now density means एक जगह पे या फिर एक एरिया पे total कितना population है, we call it as population density, and this is a formula for population density. The formula is population density is the ratio, see this is the ratio of the area to the population of a country. एक पर्टिकुलर एरिया में कितने लोग हैं, लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल लेट्स कंसिडर योर हाउस. इफ यू कंसिडर एरिया, क्या बोलोगे, मेरा हाउस इतना एरिया का है. ओके, तो ये एरिया में कितने लोग रह रहे हैं, यू विल से माय फादर, माय मदर, माय ब्रदर एंड मी, और माय फादर, माय मदर, माय सिस्टर एंड मी, चार लोग रह रहे हैं. तो इफ इतने एरिया में चार लोग रह रहे हो, इट्स गुड. इफ तुम बोलोगे मैम उतने एरिया में हम 40 लोग रह रहे हैं, it is not possible, still I'm saying. So what will happen, the population density is disturbed. ठीक है, तो this is how the population density you have to calculate, the area upon the number of people living, area upon the population. Okay, let's understand.
The population of a country to its area is population density. While discussing population distribution, density of population is also considered.
See, the density is calculated as per the given formula. See, we have to see the population. See, यहाँ पे देख रहे हो, this is the area, this is the area, and upon this area, what is the population we have to calculate? The density is calculated as per the given formula. So let's see what is the formula.
The density is calculated as per the formula given below. Density of population is equal to
population of a region divided by
area of region.
Yes, you can also say it as it is a ratio of the area of the population to the population area of a region to the population of a region. So what is the area? Say if you are talking about Maharashtra, say this is the area. Okay, and upon the number of population 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is the number of population. So this is how you calculate the density of a region. Okay, yes.
Complete the table. Here we have states, the population in 2011.
See, states, the population, the area and the density. Chalo, let's see. Okay, so this is how
3,702, density
393.9883. So see, few states are given. Some population of that, the total number of people living in that state in the year 2011 is also mentioned. Area is also given, and by using this both information and using this formula, we have calculated the density of the population. We have calculated the density of the population. Okay, fine. So see, in Uttar Pradesh, fine, so according to this, the Uttar Pradesh density is 829.3515. Then it is 365 1.1920, then 558.4186, then 20.0293, then 121.9042, and 393.9883. So this is the density. Okay, so listen to this carefully.
83. From the area of a region and its population, one can calculate how many people live in a square kilometer. Density of population is not the same everywhere. In some regions, the area is small, but the population is large. For example, Goa. Think about it.
Okay, yes.
Factors affecting population distribution are
Now,
physical
as we
factors,
were saying about the
economic
population
factors.
distribution, we were talking about a distribution of the population. Now, there are few factors that affect the population distribution. So now let's see what is the population distribution. It can be the physical factor, it can be the economical factors, and many more. So let's pay attention and we will understand each in detail.
Political factors and social factors. The physical factors are 1. Location, 2. Relief, 3. Climate, 4. Soil, and 5. Mineral resources. Economic factors.
Okay, so let's talk about the physical factors. See, total we have four factors. First is the physical factor, next is the economical factor, next is the political factor, and next is the social factor. If I talk about the physical factor means like अगर कोई area है ना, तो उस area पे exactly क्या क्या है physically. Like if you visit a area, तो अच्छा हाँ यहाँ पे क्या है, तो यहाँ पे climate ऐसा है. If I say हाँ यहाँ पे soil ऐसा है, तो वहाँ पे जब आप physically present होगे, तो उस टाइप पे क्या क्या होगा, तो उन सब चीजों पे डिपेंड करता है. जैसे फर्स्ट इज अ लोकेशन. ना लोकेशन प्लेज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. ना वेयर एग्जैक्टली इट इज लोकेटेड. ठीक है, तो उसके हिसाब से पॉपुलेशन डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होगा. सेकेंड इज द रिलीफ. अगर बहुत ही ज्यादा माउंटेनियस पार्ट होगा तो वहां पे लोग नहीं रहेंगे. इफ यू हैव अ फ्लैट प्लेट, यस, लोग वहां पे रहेंगे. देन कमिंग टू द क्लाइमेट पार्ट. सी, हाँ, इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द क्लाइमेट पार्ट, तो क्लाइमेट पे इफ आई टॉक अबाउट कश्मीर, तो आप वहां पे ऑल द टाइम ऑल द सीजन नहीं रह सकते ना, तो क्लाइमेट प्लेज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल कश्मीर का, इफ आई टॉक अबाउट कश्मीर, सो इन नॉर्मल मंथ्स में आप रह लोगे, पर जब ये विंटर्स है तो बहुत ज्यादा ठंड हो जाएगी. So it is a bit difficult. So climate also plays an important role. Soil. Now why soil is important is because अगर किसी को वहाँ पे farming करना है या ऐसा कुछ करना है, तो you have to make sure that the soil जो चीज है वो it should be fertile. Now राजस्थान में रह के you can't think of doing the farming ना, so soil is also important. Next is the mineral resources. What kind of mineral? अगर वहाँ पे ज्यादा mineral resources है, mining का problem है, तो constantly lead, sulfur, ये सब चीजें it can also hamper the air. So this way we can think. Now moving on to the economic
1.
factors.
Agriculture, 2. Industry, 3. Urbanization, 4. Transport, 5. Markets.
Yes, economically is also important. अगर economic factors as in money wise अगर हम सोच रहे हैं, so basically we have to think about the agricultural part, we have to think about the industry part, urbanization, transport, markets. Now see, the same value is not for everywhere. तो यहाँ पे अगर कुछ चीजें अलग है, यहाँ पे many of the people are staying here, right? So उसके according ये जो values है वो differ होगा. तो वही अगर आप किसी और जगह पे जा रहे हो, वो जितना ज्यादा urbanized नहीं है, थोड़ा rural part में है, तो वहां पे उसी चीज का या उसके जैसे सिमिलर चीज का आपको कॉस्ट जो है वो क्या मिलेगा, कम मिलेगा. सो इट टोटली डिपेंड्स अपॉन द इकोनॉमिक फैक्टर्स ऑल्सो. ओके, मूविंग ऑन.
Political factors. 1. Wars. 2. Political instability. 3. Government policies. Social factors are
ओके सो वॉर्स पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी एंड गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर आपको एक पर्टिकुलर एरिया में रहना है एंड इफ यू फाइंड दैट वहाँ पे कॉन्स्टेंटली वॉर चल रहा है वॉर इट डजंट मीन द बिग वन बट येस वहाँ पे इंस्टेबिलिटी है कि हाँ वहाँ पे इतना दो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज में या कुछ पॉलिटिकल व्यूज के ऊपर कुछ वॉर हो रहा है या पॉलिटिकल वहाँ पे इनस्टेबल है या इफ ऐसे गवर्नमेंट policies का कुछ issues है so will you like to stay in that particular area no so also distribution depends upon the political factors also now let's talk about the social factors
1. Race. 2. Religion. 3. Language. 4. Customs and tradition.
okay so also social factors plays an important role now what happens is now majority what we do we like to stay with our own crowd of people जैसे if I talk कि महाराष्ट्र में you will it like in Mumbai city it is basically it is for all like it is not a same thing but what people prefer is to stay with a particular race a particular religion a particular language a particular group of traditional peoples and everything now everywhere if we move to some places we find it more comfortable with the people of our same religion of our same language of our same customs and of our same tradition so when we are trying to migrate और जब हम पॉपुलेशन का डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का जो हम देखते हैं तो ये फैक्टर्स ये जो सोशल फैक्टर्स है वो भी उसमें मैटर करता है सो इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द फैक्टर्स अफेक्टिंग द पॉपुलेशन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन चार फैक्टर्स है फिजिकल इकोनॉमिकल पॉलिटिकल एंड सोशल फैक्टर्स ओके yes so if I talk about the physical factors location relief climate social and mineral resources if I talk about the economic ones it is agriculture industry urbanization transports and markets if I talk about the political it is war political instability government policies race and if I talk about the social factors it can be race religion language customs and tradition I hope things are clear to you. Yes, everyone. Kalyani, Gauri, Shreya, Satish, I hope things are clear to you, beta. Yes.
Try this. Geographical explanation.
Yes, please pay attention.
Structure of population. Population can be subdivided into various categories. By studying the correlation between the
When we talk
subdivisions
about
and
the structure
understanding
of the population, that means what kind of population do we have in a particular place. So at that time, it plays a very important role. This hierarchy, please pay attention. See, the population is first divided into two parts. It depends upon the number of males and the number of the females. After that, we can subdivide it into the young ones and the old one. Now, both can be further divided into the educated one and the uneducated one कितने पढ़े लिखे हैं कितने नहीं पढ़े लिखे हैं it also depends so now this education plays a very important role in the development of a particular area तो अगर ज्यादा पढ़े लिखे लोग रहेंगे तो the area the city the particular place will flourish okay वहाँ पे जो chances है development के वो comparatively ज़्यादा है so by studying the correlation between the subdivisions we can understand the structure of the population the quality of the population everything can be understood fine so this is how we will end our today's lecture here we will continue the rest part in the next lecture okay so bye everyone bye students